top 5 quarterbacks in the National Football League right now, according to Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes being number 1. Give me 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, so I think consistently, the guys that I see Josh Allen as someone who's always impresses me as a player. I see Lamar Jackson, who always impresses me as a player. Joe Burrow is very impressive the way he throws the ball and leads the team. Again, another guy who's got a great connection with his teammates.
Right.
I'll leave it at those 4.
Right. I'm going to throw Aaron Rodgers in there.
Of course.
It's just me. It's just me.
I'm very interested to see how Aaron comes back and performs this year. And you know how dedicated and committed he is to being a great quarterback again. He had a year off. I believe that it would be very motivating for him to do that. At the end of the day, it's going to be up to them to go out there and prove to us, right or wrong, whether our decisions or judgments or hypotheses about them are right.
Okay, let's break that down. Kmart, you're up first. So there was one name notably left off in some people's minds, and that would be Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Do you think he's a top 5 quarterback right now?
Okay, Molly, I'm not gonna lie. I actually debated this in my head. I went back and forth. Initially, I was like, yes. And then I was like, ooh, I don't know. And then after a while, I came back with yes. And here's my reason why. Game on the line. Who are my starting, who are the top 5 guys?
Yep.
Game on the line, I need to win. Who do I trust in that moment? So for me, it's Mahomes, it's Burrow, it's Josh Allen, it's CJ Stroud. And then it was that last 5 spot. And there's something that just doesn't feel right about leaving Aaron Rodgers off that. And so then I decided, all right, let me phone a friend. Because in my line of work, do the opinion thing, do the analyst
That's
thing.
funny. It didn't ring.
Yeah, exactly, because I know what your answer would be.
Yeah.
So I
You
decided
phoned me for different things.
Right. So then I decided to ask actual football evaluators. So I talked to some current GMs, Michael. And so one gave me this response. One top level exec said, no, he's not. He's old, he's injury prone, and he's over the hill. 2 other guys I spoke to said, you gotta leave him at top 5 until proven otherwise. And I think that's where I land, because I'm looking at the body of work. I'm looking at the 2 MVPs, back-to-back MVPs in the last 4 years, right? And I'm looking at a guy who we didn't get to see last season with the Jets. That season, unfortunately, was curtailed by that devastating injury. So until I see Aaron Rodgers on the field and I'm looking at him and he falters and he looks kind of like what Mike T was alluding to earlier with the Russell Wilson, like, ooh, he looks like he's lost a step. Then I'll say, no, he falls out of my top 5. But for now, he is there.
So the question is right now. So if we take Tom Brady's list of Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen, so now there's room for one more. Here are all the quarterbacks I would take before Aaron Rodgers. Any of these guys before Aaron Rodgers, because again, Molly, the question is right now.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud, Jordan Love, Matthew Stafford, Justin Herbert. And there's probably a few more, like the Jared Goffs of the world, I would consider.
You said
Aaron
Justin
Rodgers
Herbert?
is 40 years old, and he's coming off an Achilles tendon. He has not played high-level football in 3 years. Let's hope he does. It would be a great story. New York, come back, the whole 9 yards. Let's hope that happens. But until we see it, guys, the old Coach Parcells line, we go by what we see. All those other players.
Nice
I'm
guy,
saying
even
it's
though
unique.
people don't want to know it.
That's all. I'm a lot of things. Vanilla is actually my favorite flavor. French vanilla is my favorite ice cream flavor, by the way. But anyway, I digress. The point is this.
I
would say
thought it was swirl. Keep going.
Oh, it ain't swirl.
Oh.
Not at all.
Oh.
Not at all. But it's French vanilla ice cream. Anyway, when I think
are
about
off the rails.
the most polarizing quarterback, you brought it up. Don't go to the third rail.
I'm talking about soft serve ice cream. I don't know where you guys are going.
I got you. Swirling is not necessarily so. But
Okay, swirl.
most polarizing quarterback in the NFL.
Flavored.
You know-
Go ahead. You're so awkward.
You're so awkward.
Seriously, I'm not talking about like chocolate vanilla like that. I'm just talking about swirl ice cream, like from Dairy Queen. You know I'm a fat kid at heart. Go ahead. Don't make it like that.
I understand. Anyway, most polarizing quarterback in the
Sorry,
NFL
Sam.
right now. I think that part also goes to Aaron Rodgers. I don't think that's deniable. Considering the issues that he had before departing from Green Bay, considering the off-the-field issues that he's brought to the forefront. There's a book out about him right now, written by the great Ian O'Connor as well. You got family members talking about him and stuff, and all of this kind of stuff. We're paying attention to his diet. We're paying attention to the cleanse stuff that he does for himself. The hiatus he takes, and the summer sabbaticals, and living in dark caves and all of this other stuff. There's so many different things that have been talked about when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, but very little of it has had to do with football because of his injuries over the last couple of years. And so because that's the reality that we're looking back on, and you're looking at the Jets being a representative of Gotham City, 13 seasons removed from postseason competition, recognizing the kind of savior he's been deemed to be in Gotham City, I think all of those things ultimately lend itself towards you looking at Aaron Rodgers, who's been involved in his share of controversies and being immunized and not taking the vaccine and all of this other stuff, the kind of stuff that he's been in the headlines for over the last few years. I think it's apropos to say that he would be the most polarizing quarterback in the NFL right now.
The debate over who belongs in the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL has always been heated, but when you throw Aaron Rodgers into the mix, things escalate quickly. With rising stars like Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow dominating the conversation, and veterans like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson continuing to shine, where does Aaron Rodgers truly stand? Has his time at the top ended, or does he still deserve to be recognized as one of the league's elite? Let's dig into this high-stakes question. Recently, I received a message from someone deeply entrenched in the world of professional sports. They made it clear in the NFL, any negative comments can and will be used against you. That's just the nature of the game. And right now, Aaron Rodgers is at the center of that game. Let's talk about Rodgers. After a catastrophic Achilles injury, doubts are swirling. Can Rodgers still perform at the highest level? But before we rush to conclusions, let's remember who we're talking about. This is Aaron Rodgers, a 4-time MVP, a Super Bowl champion, and just 2 seasons ago, he was dominating the league. So why are we even questioning if he belongs in the top 5? Tom Brady, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, recently weighed in. According to Brady, Mahomes is the undisputed number 1. No argument there. Then he mentioned Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow as the other quarterbacks who have impressed him. But when it came to the 5th spot, Brady hesitated. That's when Aaron Rodgers entered the conversation. Brady didn't dismiss Rodgers. He knows exactly how dedicated Rodgers is to being great, and after a year off, Brady believes Rodgers will be fiercely motivated to prove himself once again, but at the end of the day, it's up to Rodgers to show us that he still has what it takes. So where does Rodgers truly stand? Some football analysts are quick to write him off, labeling him as old, injury-prone, and past his prime. But others argue that you can't count out a player like Rodgers until he shows otherwise. And that's the critical point. Until we see Rodgers falter on the field, he's still very much in this conversation. Rodgers' place in the top 5 is precarious and depends entirely on his health and performance this season. If he can stay healthy and return to the MVP form we saw in 2020 and 2021, there's no doubt he deserves a top spot. But if injuries continue to plague him, or if age finally catches up, then it might be time to admit that his days as a top 5 quarterback are behind him. But here's the twist: when we talk about the best quarterbacks in the league, we can't ignore the intangibles. Rodgers has been a proven winner for over a decade. When the game is on the line, who do you trust? Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, and Jackson are all phenomenal choices, but leaving Rodgers off that list doesn't feel right. He's been in those high-pressure moments and delivered when it mattered most. Of course, the critics will point to the numbers. In 2022, Rodgers' stats were far from elite. He averaged just 217.4 passing yards per game, his lowest as a full-time starter. But let's not forget Rodgers played much of that season with a thumb injury, which undeniably affected his performance. Before that, he was unstoppable, leading the Packers to back-to-back 13-win seasons and MVP honors. So is Aaron Rodgers still a top 5 quarterback in the NFL? Right now, the answer is uncertain. He's recovering from a significant injury, and younger quarterbacks are making serious cases for their place among the elite. But Rodgers' talent and legacy are undeniable. If he's healthy, he's still one of the most dangerous quarterbacks in the game. And with the Jets looking like potential Super Bowl contenders, Rodgers has the opportunity to remind everyone why he's been one of the most feared players in the league for so long. The 2023 season will be Rodgers' ultimate test. If he can bounce back and lead the Jets to success, he'll firmly reestablish himself as a top 5 quarterback. But if he falters, it may finally be time to accept that Rodgers' era at the top has come to an end. Only time will tell.